Hey, this is Mark from Strongpoint. This is part of a series of videos that discuss specific techniques to help you achieve SOX compliance or other regulatory compliance more quickly and easily in NetSuite. Today, we're going to be talking about monitoring administrator behavior in your NetSuite account. And in particular, we're going to be talking about how to monitor their transactional behavior. Administrators, and there are some other roles that are like this, such as the system administrator role, generally have extremely broad transactional powers. They can not only create and edit any type of transaction or any other record for that matter, but they can also delete them. And so therefore, the administrator role is a particular point of concern for auditors because an administrator could, in theory, commit fraud and then cover their tracks fairly closely. Now, the challenge is that if we want to have the solution to this, rather, is to have a review of any administrator transactional behavior. And in most companies, administrators should have no transactional activities in a production account. And the first instinct people have is to produce a search that, like this one here, that simply filters based on the user role that was recorded in the system notes. Now, you can group it somewhat differently so that it doesn't have a line for every single field that's changed. Generally speaking, you just want to know, that they changed journal, number 43 over here. You're not as interested, at least not for purposes of overall review, that they, changed the subsidiary to parent company or, made a timestamp somewhere. But the challenge you're going to get here is that this role is recorded even when the person using it did not have administrator access. And the circumstance where that will occur is when you have a workflow or a script operating in the administrator role context. And to learn more about this, we have a separate video about monitoring scripts that execute as admins. So when that happens, particularly in a user role context or a user event context, so it's occurring right after somebody saves something, then you will get these false positives. Right? So the second challenge is if you wanted to start filtering this, there is no join on the system notes between the name Daphne Palana and Daphne's actual employee record. So you can't actually check whether or not Daphne really has the administrator role, and therefore you're going to end up with false positives. And there's really no way around it without Strongpoint. So with Strongpoint, what you're able to do is compare two different searches. And this is part of the Strongpoint agent system. And you'll see that we have a first search, so we're going to look at it in a second, that says transactions associated with administrator role. It's a search, and this is the customization record for it that Strongpoint prepares. And you'll see that we've set it as control. We've created a log behavior, so it's going to show up as a log that needs to be cleared to give it some workflow. And we set it to run daily, right? And all this is going to do, if we go take a look at this search, is it's just looking for, mainline is true, system notes is role, date is here, set by. So looking for any change on the body of the transaction where it's the administrator going on. And you could make slightly different versions of this. You could make one that just looked at at other fields, but generally speaking, this will catch any changes to the lines or the body, because if you change anything, you'll change the last modified date field, and this will get caught as a change by the administrator. So this is the same type of system note search that we were looking at before. Really no different. Okay. Now we're going to cross-check that against a cross-match control, and we're going to check to see if the name system notes name field appears anywhere in this data. Right. So remember, we were looking back here, and we were looking at Daphne Palana's name. Now we're going to see if Daphne Palana's name occurs in this other search. And this other search is, again, very, very simple. It's simply a search that says, does this person have the role of administrator? So search on the employee record for all the employees who have the role of administrator. Now, depending upon which roles you have deployed, you might also want to include the system administrator role here because they have extremely broad capabilities as well. And it's possible that there could be some other high-powered custom roles that you've built that you'd also want to include in here. And if you include it here, you would also have to make the same change to the original system note search. What happens is when this executes, Strongpoint automatically, it gathers all the results from this search and checks to make sure that they match this search. So anybody who doesn't match it, those false positives we're concerned about, the people who did not have an administrator role, weren't acting in administrator role, but just submitted something and then a user event script caused the administrator role to be flagged on the system notes, those people are going to be excluded. And so very, very simply, you can set this up and it'll produce logs that show you exactly what you want to see, which is the administrator behavior in the system. And now you can blend those reports together to produce a review of all the administrator activity in the week or the month, depending on your review cycle, and clear it on out. Okay. This capability is extremely useful for all sorts of different types of controls. You can learn more about it by reading in our user guide or reaching out to a member of our team, and they'll walk you through it. Thanks very much.